Retirement isn't just about money. It's about identity. Who are you without your job? This transition can feel unsettling, but it's also a chance to rediscover meaning plus purpose in your third act. Retirement isn't just the end of work. It's the beginning of a new identity. If you're wondering who you are without your job, this stage can become a powerful chance to rediscover meaning and purpose. For many people, work is far more than just a paycheck. Over the course of a career, it becomes the scaffolding that supports daily life. Work provides structure, the predictable rhythms of early mornings, commutes, meetings, and deadlines. It offers purpose, a sense that the hours we invest contribute to something larger than ourselves. It brings recognition, the titles, promotions, and acknowledgments that tell us we are valued. And it provides a deep sense of identity, the shorthand answer we give when asked, "So, what do you do?" Because of this, retirement or semi-retirement is rarely just a logistical or financial change. It is often experienced as a profound shift in the story we tell about ourselves. When the long-standing role of teacher, manager, nurse, entrepreneur, or professional suddenly comes to an end, it can feel like stepping off a stage where you have played a central part for decades. Even for those who have eagerly anticipated this time, dreaming of travel, leisure, or simply more freedom, the reality of leaving the workforce can bring an unexpected wave of disorientation. This stage of life is complex, precisely because it carries both gains and losses. On one hand, there is liberation, the freedom to set your own schedule, to spend time with loved ones, to explore long-delayed passions, or to simply slow down. On the other hand, there can be a hollow ache where meaning and belonging used to be. Without the daily interactions of colleagues, the goals that once gave focus, or the recognition that affirmed our efforts, it's easy to feel a gap in self-definition. Questions often emerge, sometimes quietly and sometimes urgently. Who am I now? What matters most? What do I want this next chapter to be about? Psychological research confirms what many people experience firsthand. Retirement is one of life's most significant transitions, comparable in emotional impact to events like marriage, relocation, or even bereavement. Wang and Schur, 2014. It is not a single moment but a process, a season of adjustment, grieving, and eventual rebuilding. Some describe it as a crossroads between an old self and a yet-to-be-discovered identity. For many, this process can feel unsettling. For others, it opens space for renewal and growth. Consider the story of John, a 62-year-old executive who had defined himself by his leadership role for over 30 years. On his first Monday of retirement, John woke up early as usual, poured his coffee, and then realized he had nowhere to go. What had once been a bustling morning routine now felt strangely silent. For weeks, John found himself struggling with a nagging question. Without his title, his office, and his daily team, who was he? Over time, with reflection and support, John began to reframe his identity around mentorship, community volunteering, and deeper family relationships. His story illustrates what many encounter, the need to grieve an old role before stepping into a new one. Retirement, then, is not just about stopping work. It is about rediscovering identity, meaning, and belonging in a new form. While it can feel daunting, it also carries the possibility of creating a life that reflects who you are now, not just who you used to be. Work plays a central role in shaping personal identity. For decades, a professional role often becomes deeply tied to a sense of self, providing not only income but also meaning and recognition. Psychologists refer to this as role centrality, where the work role becomes a primary way individuals define themselves. Ashforth, 2001. This is why introductions so often begin with, "What do you do?" Our occupations serve as shorthand for who we are in the world. When retirement arrives, this anchor can be abruptly removed, leaving many to question how they now define themselves. In addition to identity, work also provides daily structure. The routines of commuting, scheduled meetings, and regular responsibilities create a rhythm that organizes time. Research shows that structured time contributes to psychological well-being, whereas unstructured time can lead to restlessness or even distress. Atchley, 1999. Without the scaffolding of a work schedule, retirees may find themselves with long stretches of time that feel overwhelming or empty, which can intensify feelings of dislocation. Workplaces also fulfill the human need for social belonging. Colleagues, clients, and professional networks create opportunities for interaction, support, and friendship. These daily contacts are often taken for granted until they suddenly disappear after retirement. Studies indicate that loss of workplace social ties is one of the strongest predictors of loneliness in retirement, underscoring the importance of replacing or reimagining community connections in this life stage. Wang et al., 2011. Finally, professional life provides a steady source of achievement and purpose. Through projects, goals, and milestones, individuals experience a sense of progress and contribution. These achievements affirm self-worth and provide meaning. Without them, retirees sometimes feel adrift, struggling to identify where purpose will come from next. Donaldson et al., 2010. The absence of regular recognition, whether through performance feedback, client appreciation, or even a simple paycheck, can leave a gap that needs to be consciously addressed. Together, these elements, role centrality, daily structure, social belonging, and achievement, explain why retirement can be such a profound identity transition. Work is not only what we do, it is often how we know who we are. One of the most common challenges following retirement is what psychologists often call the identity gap, a period of uncertainty that arises when a central life role is removed. Surratt, 2017. For many people, professional roles such as teacher, executive, nurse, or caregiver have been defining features of selfhood for decades. When those roles come to an end, individuals may feel a sudden void, leading to questions such as, am I still valuable if I'm not contributing through work? What does success look like at this stage of life? How do I rebuild a daily rhythm that feels satisfying? These questions are not signs of weakness, but natural reflections of a profound life transition. The identity gap can have significant psychological effects. Without clear markers of achievement or external validation, some retirees struggle with self-worth, reporting feelings of purposelessness or invisibility. Price, 2003. Research shows that this gap is strongly associated with higher risks of anxiety and depression in the years immediately following retirement, particularly among individuals whose sense of self was tightly bound to their careers. Kim and Moen, 2002. For others, the identity gap manifests more subtly, as a lingering sense of restlessness or dissatisfaction with unstructured days. Importantly, not everyone experiences the identity gap in the same way. Factors such as health, financial security, social support, and personality traits influence how disruptive the transition feels. Van Solange and Henkens, 2008. Individuals who have cultivated multiple identities outside of work, through hobbies, family roles, or community engagement, tend to adjust more smoothly. In contrast, those whose work was their primary or sole identity often find the gap more challenging. The good news is that this gap is not permanent. With intentional reflection and support, retirees can use this period as an opportunity for self-redefinition. By exploring new sources of meaning, investing in social connections, and developing fulfilling daily rhythms, it is possible to move from a sense of loss toward a renewed and integrated identity. Therapy and coaching can provide a valuable framework for navigating this stage, offering both emotional support and practical strategies for growth. The good news is that retirement is not only an ending, it can also be a powerful opportunity to reshape your identity in ways that feel more authentic and fulfilling. While the transition may involve grief and uncertainty, many retirees eventually discover new roles, passions, and sources of meaning that allow them to thrive in this next life stage. Pincourt and Schindler, 2007. The following strategies can help bridge the gap between who you were at work and who you are becoming now. Explore new roles and passions. Retirement offers the freedom to revisit hobbies, interests, or callings that may have been set aside during busy work years. Creative pursuits such as painting, writing, or music can become not only enjoyable activities, but also central parts of your self-expression. Volunteering, mentoring, or community involvement provides opportunities to contribute skills and wisdom in meaningful ways. Research shows that retirees who actively engage in new roles experience higher levels of life satisfaction and psychological well-being. Wang et al., 2011. Reframe success and contribution. Without the traditional markers of workplace productivity, success in retirement often requires redefinition. For some, this may mean prioritizing health, cultivating inner peace, or deepening relationships. For others, it could involve giving back to the community, supporting grandchildren, or pursuing projects that align with personal values. Studies suggest that retirees who adopt flexible definitions of success report greater adjustment and resilience. Kim and Moen, 2002. Create new rhythms. The loss of workplace routines can initially feel disorienting, but it also creates the possibility of designing rhythms that align with personal values and preferences. Intentionally structuring days with a balance of rest, social connection, physical activity, and meaningful engagement helps maintain psychological well-being. Scholars emphasize that retirees who establish new routines adapt more smoothly to post-work life. Atchley, 1999. Strengthen relationship. Retirement often reshapes relational dynamics, particularly with partners and family. With more time spent together, couples may face both new opportunities for closeness and new sources of tension. Being intentional about communication, renegotiating shared goals, and cultivating friendships outside the family can strengthen one's social network and protect against isolation. Van Salinge and Henkins, 2008. Seek professional support. Finally, therapy or coaching can play an important role in this transition. Depth-oriented approaches allow retirees to process the grief of identity loss, explore existential concerns, and design a meaningful new chapter. Professional support has been linked to improved coping, reduced symptoms of depression, and greater overall life satisfaction during retirement adjustment. Richardson and Keelty, 1991. Taken together, these strategies emphasize that retirement is not simply about what is left behind, but about what can be created. With openness and support, the post-work years can become a time of growth, connection, and renewed vitality. Rather than viewing retirement as the end of something, some psychologists and gerontologists suggest it is better understood as the third act of life, a stage marked not by decline, but by opportunity, growth, and integration. Cohen, 2005. Just as a play unfolds in stages, life can be seen in three broad acts. The first act centers on growth and learning, where childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood are defined by exploration, identity formation, and preparation. The second act emphasizes career and family building, where much of one's energy is directed toward work, achievement, caregiving, and establishing stability. The third act, in contrast, is a time of integration, legacy, and fulfillment. It is about weaving together the experiences of the first two acts into a coherent story, while also choosing how to live with purpose and meaning in the years ahead. Framing retirement this way changes the emotional tone of the transition. Instead of asking only, "What have I lost now that I no longer work?" the guiding question becomes, "What is possible now that I have more freedom to choose?" This shift opens space for exploration. What passions have been waiting for attention? What relationships deserve deeper investment? What contributions or creative expressions still want to be made? Research on positive aging emphasizes that those who approach retirement as a stage of continued development, rather than withdrawal, report greater well-being and life satisfaction. Carstensen, 2006. Pinquart and Schindler, 2007. The third act perspective also highlights the importance of legacy. For some, this means passing on knowledge through mentoring or volunteering. For others, it is about deepening family bonds, writing memoirs, or contributing to causes that align with their values. Legacy is not limited to material inheritance, but includes emotional and relational imprints that carry forward. This sense of continuity between past, present, and future helps reinforce identity and meaning. Erickson, and Kivnick, 1986. Ultimately, the third act is about moving from an identity tied primarily to doing, productivity, career, and external recognition, to one grounded in being. It is about embracing the freedom to shape life intentionally and to live in alignment with personal values. When seen through this lens, retirement is not an ending, but a doorway into new possibilities, where the central question shifts from "Who am I without my job?" to "Who do I want to become now?" If you are struggling with this transition, you are not alone. Questions about identity and retirement are normal, and they are part of the process of moving from one life stage into another. Many people find themselves surprised by the intensity of the shift, even when they have looked forward to more freedom, rest, or travel. The uncertainty can feel unsettling, but it is also an invitation, a chance to step into a new way of being. A key part of navigating this change is self-compassion. It is easy to criticize yourself for not adjusting fast enough or for feeling lost without work. Yet treating yourself with patience and kindness makes room for growth. Psychologists have found that self-compassion helps people cope with transitions more effectively because it reduces self-judgment and supports emotional resilience. Neff, 2011. Giving yourself permission to feel what you feel without pressure to get it right immediately. can transform the retirement journey. Retirement also offers a unique opportunity for identity crafting, actively shaping who you want to become in this new chapter. Just as careers are built step by step, new identities are crafted through small choices, experiments, and reflections. Whether it's pursuing a passion you set aside, deepening relationships, or creating new rhythms of life, each decision lays another stone in the pathway toward your third act. Equally important is the power of persistence. The transition to retirement is rarely a straight line. Some days you may feel energized and free, other days lonely or unsure. Persistence means showing up for yourself again and again, even when the path feels unclear. Over time, these steady efforts accumulate, and a new sense of purpose begins to take root. With the right support, retirement can become more than an ending. It can be the beginning of a chapter that feels intentional, authentic, and deeply fulfilling. Whether you are preparing to retire, adjusting to semi-retirement, or have already stepped away from work, you don't have to navigate these changes alone. I specialize in helping individuals through retirement and later life transitions, drawing on both psychotherapy and coaching approaches. Together, we can explore your evolving identity, practice self-compassion, and create a roadmap for a future that reflects not only where you have been, but also who you want to become. Learn more here. Depth Therapy for Retirement and Later Life.